Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to this really interesting webinar. Interesting from a topic aspect, but also from the speakers and from the necessity of this topic, especially at this point in time for our region, of course, but globally at the same time. My name is Maysam Atoum. I'm the country director for CWAS in Jordan, and CWAS is a Swiss organization that invests most of its time and energy in supporting innovation, but also addressing water and sanitation issues in the region and globally. CWAS is the implementing partner for this Blue Peace Middle East initiative. And this initiative has been launched back in 2010, that was funded by multiple donors and just recently supported by the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation since 2010 till now. And this initiative, the objective of this whole initiative is to actually promote regional water cooperation in the region in 6 countries that you can see in the background map, as you see behind me. But also highlight water-related media outputs and also promote innovations in the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus. This initiative has been going for some time now and has produced a lot of great outputs. I'll leave the more detailed part to my colleague Samar from the coordination office. But to go back to the objective of this webinar for today, thanks for your time and thanks for dedicating your afternoon for these 1.5 hour presentations that we will go through really interesting alternative solutions for post-production food packaging, where we actually look at sustainable models for packaging to allow us for improved resource utilization, especially for food production value chain. And that would produce a smaller or a lower water footprint. And this is what we focus in this session on how we can promote alternative packaging solutions to, reserve the water resources that we have in this region, because it has been really scarce. It's interesting to know that the sustainable and the alternative packaging market has been growing on a 7% kind of growing curve in the last few years. And the total market globally reaches up to $300 billion US, which is, I would assume and state that this is a really untapped market yet. But I think globally and in the EU market, it has been the major driving force. In the region, we have started to see some great models of sustainable packaging, but still we need a lot of solutions and we need a lot of innovations. I see a few colleagues joining still to this session, which is great. But before going into the actual content of the webinar today, I would like to introduce my colleague, Samar Kredi, from the regional office, from the coordination office at Inward Dam. And she's the regional communication and advocacy officer at Blue Peace Middle East. Samar, if you would like to tell us a bit more about the Blue Peace Middle East initiative.
Thank you very much, Maysam, and I'm very happy to see you everyone join today. I'm Samar Kreide, as Maysam mentioned, Regional Communication and Advocacy Officer for Blue Peace Middle East. I'm assuming from the names, you're all from the MENA region. I would really appreciate it if you can write down in the chat where are you joining from. But being a Lebanese and talking from a regional aspect, our region, if you can move, Ahmad, please, to the next slide, is one of the regions that is considered the most scarce around the world, with over 60% of our region facing water scarcity. If you can kindly move to the next one. So, knowing how important water is and how strategic it is as an element for the sustainability and security of countries, some experts were thinking together back in 2010, maybe this water scarcity with the ongoing issues of climate change, population growth, and so on, might be a cause to conflict at some point with its growing scarcity and stress in the region. So they were thinking there should be a kind of mechanism that should be in place in order to avoid having water as a reason for conflict at some point between countries. And we should be utilizing the power of water in order to reach a peaceful future for the region, a future where the region is more cooperative on this resource rather than competitive. And this is why in 2010 2011, Blue Peace Middle East was launched under the guidance of His Royal Highness Prince Al Hassan bin Talal, with four main countries joining back then, which are Lebanon, Turkey, Iraq, and Jordan. And just recently, at the end of 2025, Syria joined officially as a member country for the initiative, with our geographical reach also covering Iran, since most of the transboundary waters, I mean, not only rivers, the water you see by your eyes, but also the underground water, are shared between those countries. If you can kindly move to the next slide. So Blue Peace Middle East came with the idea of working on two main pillars. One is to work on policy dialogue in order to make the people who have influence over power, over the decision-making process in their country, influence the direction towards a more cooperative way of working together rather than having competition over the resources. And the second one is building the education and the capacities of the people working in this domain, so we can use this knowledge built through research to influence, at the end of the day, the decision-making process. If you can go to the next one, please. And the next one. So if I want to be very brief, I can say that through the support of our partners, including CWAS, in Wardam, where our coordination office is hosted, SUWIN, the Water Diplomacy Center, and which is our educational arm for this initiative, and our main and exclusive support donor, which is Switzerland, through the SDC, we were able to reach some, I would say, achievements through the last couple of years, including of 13 high-level dialogue meetings between our members, 3 regional mechanism study tours where our community goes and build the knowledge and through previous success stories. Through the research and education, we were able to complete 5 studies with some few now ongoing. We were able to provide 16 master's scholarships for master students and to provide funds for 25 researchers working on both water and the WIFI nexus, which is water, energy, food, and ecosystem, because those 4 elements should be worked in harmony and not in silos in order to achieve, I would say, a more sustainable approach later on. We were able to work with the media, the youth, and to work on ground and through trainings and workshops. If you can kindly continue, Ahmad, with a lot of more than 260 water professionals trained, a few monitoring stations, gogging stations, weather stations, and now 2 pilot projects that are being launched recently on the ground. That would be it very quickly, very briefly. I would like to end it with a quote for His Royal Highness Prince Al Hassan bin Talal, that water does never make or does not make additional water, but regional cooperation can. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to this very nice webinar hosted and coordinated by our partner, CWAS. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samad. Wonderful. Thanks for letting us know about the Blue Peace Middle East Initiative. And I see that you have accomplished a lot. part of which is, a series of webinars that talks about water from really different angles. And this time, I think we are focusing on, the sustainable packaging industry and how does it really improve resource efficiency, water scarcity, especially in this region. Because when we think of the packaging industry, it's not about only the upstream, the production of packaging material that consumes water, but at the same time, downstream, when we go through the life cycle assessment of each product and each packaging element, I think the water consumption continues, which is important to keep in mind. And it's very interesting topic that maybe it hasn't been tackled before, the relationship between water and packaging. And this is our platform today to learn, but also to discuss. And before going into the presentations, I would like to introduce quickly who we have today as speakers. We have four distinguished speakers today from different countries with different backgrounds. We have first Ms. Sujud Al-Balauna, and she's the founder of Supportive Packaging or Supportive Packaging Solutions. She's from Jordan, and she will be speaking to us about sustainable, functional, and market-ready packaging. Also, presenter number two, Dr. Rodrigo Jimenez. He's the co-founder and CEO of Polymeron. He's based in Saudi Arabia, but he works in between Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and he'll be talking to us today about biodegradable plastic solutions across the region. Also, our third presenter of the day is Eylül Er. She's the founder and CEO of Balgi from Turkey, and she will be talking to us about algae-powered innovations, a really nice concept from Turkey. And, we have our colleague Farah Zainuddin from Lebanon. She's the marketing manager in the Cantinas in Lebanon, and she will be talking to us about an alternative type of selling to the market with a zero packaging model. So these presentations will be really brief, crisp, direct to the point, but we will allow a few questions. But before we go into the presentations themselves, maybe my colleague Ahmed will help us launch a couple of questions just to get your insight and your opinion on a few questions related to sustainable packaging. Okay, so in your screen now, you can see that you have an icebreaker. It has two questions. Feel free to answer to both and submit, and then we will look together at the results from everyone in the room today. We'll give you a minute to be able to answer and read through the questions carefully before we end the poll. Okay, so just as a reminder for those who already answered and closed the questions, first question says, when you choose a product, how much does packaging influence your purchase? Are you really looking at the packaging of the product? Are you not really paying attention? And does it really drive your decision to purchase or not? When you have a minimal packaging or zero packaging sometimes, or sustainable packagings that solutions that shows on the product. So this is question number one. Question number two, if you could redesign one everyday package to make it more sustainable, what would you change first? Is it materials? Is it the reusability aspect? Is it the size of the packaging and the quantity of, number of layers, for example? Is it the labeling aspect? Is it how companies communicate around their packaging, whether sustainable or not? So please, if you have not answered to the poll yet, please answer and submit, and we can take a look at the results. And in the chat, I see we have a majority from Jordan and Lebanon, but also we have our colleagues from Iraq. We have our colleagues from Turkey, also, I think, from Iran. Great to have this diversity in the group. And maybe, Ahmed, we can give it another 10 seconds and we close the polls and let's look at the results. Okay, we can conclude now. Okay, great. So first question, again, when you choose a product, how much does packaging influence your purchase choice? Majority of people said a lot. I look for recyclable or eco-friendly packaging. So I think because we're coming with this interest, most of the audience today have a tendency and inclination to choose eco-friendly packaging or zero packaging sometimes. So that's great. A smaller sample says somewhat. I notice, but it's not, usually a determining or decisive point in my purchase options. Second question. If you could redesign one of the everyday package elements to make it more sustainable, most people say materials to switch from plastic to paper and so on. Reusability, I think four people answered that they would, opt for those packaging elements that could allow refills, return systems, and so on. Size or quantity have also four people voting for that. Okay, we won't comment much about the results because, of course, this reflects, our view on things. But at the same time, it's good to have that in mind when we listen to our speakers today. And speaking of which, I would like to present our first speaker. As I mentioned before, Sujud will be talking to us about sustainable, functional, and market-ready packaging. So this is one model from Jordan, helping industrial companies understand what other sustainable alternatives they could have if they want to design packaging solutions. So Sujud, if you're ready, you can get started with the presentation and we can help you facilitate with the slides. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you, Maysam. Thank you, Siwa's team, and for sure, Bluebee's project. Thanks for this invitation. I'm very happy to be here and talking about sustainable packaging, to talking about some initiative here in the Jordanian market to transition for the sustainable packaging. What's the meaning of sustainable packaging, and is really demand in the Jordanian market for the sustainable packaging or not? And what about the awareness and the consumer behavior regarding using sustainable and new packaging design? First of all, my name is Sujud Al-Balauna. I'm the founder and CEO of Supportive for Packaging Solution. We are a company here in Jordan, established before 4 years ago. I have experience in this field for more than 20 years, working on packaging fields in local and international companies. And during those 2 decades of working on the packaging sector, we found many challenges in the packaging facing SMEs. We can talk about, for example, food losses because of using the improper packaging material. For sure, this lead for insufficient use of material, water, and energy, which for sure lead to limited market and export readiness. Because of that, Supportive now in the Jordanian market, we are trying to provide many services As I said, we established to address critical gaps between the product quality and the market-ready packaging. And especially now we are talking about sustainable packaging. Our goal to support small and SMEs, businesses here in Jordan, to select the proper packaging that will enable them for market access, regulatory alignment, and for sure sustainable growth. We always said that our slogan is where innovation meets sustainability. Because of that, our mission that we enable business to adopt sustainable market-ready packaging solution. In the same time, we will not forget the innovation and responsible practices. About our vision, always many consumers said that packaging is one of the problem which causes a waste. But from our side, we said packaging sometimes can be one of the best solution to reduce the impact of wasting material and aligned with the circular economy. How we can provide the solution for our clients through package of services. I feel emotionally when I said what we provide for SMEs because everyone is a direct solution for our clients. Let's start with the eco packaging solution. We provide sustainable packaging design. Those sustainable packaging design is high recyclability, reduce environmental impact, and we are going for reducing the packaging material as a minimum. In the same time, keep the quality of the food inside. We are providing training and consultation, and we also focusing on a practical support for SMEs. As you can see, those photos is on the production line, one in Syria and the other in Oman. We are providing these services in the MENA region, going for the producers of the food products and make a walkthrough during on the production line, find exactly where's the problem with the packaging, try to give them a quick win solution for the problem in the production line that could help them to have a good solution and evaluation for the current packaging and think of redesign the packaging for the sustainable packaging design. The third one is a packaging development, which means that we provide them with practical market-ready solution, something related to how make the package is more accessible, more easy to be used by the client, which causes directly reduce the food waste during the usage of the product inside. The last one, which is very important and we need it in this time, which is branding and labeling solution. Here we are not talking about the branding itself. We are talking about something called the technical label review, which means that we help SMEs to know exactly what have to be written on the package according to the mandatory regulation for the export market, and help them exactly to be aware about any claim sometimes written on the packaging material. Okay, where we are supportive, yeah, we are working on the Jordan at the beginning, and at the same time we provided our services in the MENA region. We have, I said, a big project in Oman, working with the SMEs. And for Syria, we have a strategic project advancing food industry development. Last year, we finished the phase 1, and now we are starting phase 2 of this project, helping the food manufacturer to develop their packaging to increase the competitiveness of their product in the local and external market. We have a project with the projects, a training and consultation project with the Business Accelerator in Saudi Arabia. In Africa, we have interesting project working with business aggregator in Nigeria, helping them how to select the proper packaging material. And sure, in Palestine, we have many projects working with entrepreneurship, focused training and advisory support for the business incubator and accelerator. That gives us indication that there is a highly demand on this in these services in the MENA region. Okay, we always say that it's very important to measure our impact on the project. We are not talking about direct economical impact, which is increase the income of the project of the SMEs because of selling more of their products, or socially we are helping entrepreneurship how to establish their product, which is reflect, which is affect directly the social those home-based business or startups. But here we are also talking about reduced post-production losses. We always know that the latest technology of packaging material is I think it's the hero of extending shelf life of product. So we are talking about increasing the shelf life, reducing the waste in the food for many food product, and in the same time protect the product during transportation and the storage. And also efficient resource use. We always encourage our client to reduce the waste, reduce the using of packaging material, which is for sure affect the efficient resource use. And finally, stronger value chain, because we always say to them, we need to work with a local supplier that will reduce the carbon footprint because of transportation or exporting packaging material from any far away, for example, company. Our guideline principle for sustainable packaging, which is as little as possible, as much as necessary. That means use a little packaging material. In the same time, you have to keep the quality and shelf life of the food inside. Also, if we want to talk about numbers during the last 3 years, as you said in the chart, we have trained and advised more than 800 SMEs. We have 1,300 startups, businesses achieved first-time product commercialization. That means they have good packaging, so they go to the market and start selling their product. Startups and business empowered through training and consultation, more than 3,000, and 75 SMEs supported for export access in Jordan and Syria. But for me, I like always the impact on 10 SMEs here in Jordan, that 25% average shelf life increases because of good and advanced packaging used. This is a photo of one of the sustainable packaging design that we did last year, and it's when the first prize of the Arab professional design in the category of sustainability. It's packaging for shampoo kit made of 100% cotton fiber, and it's easy to be used many times. Those are our partners. We are proud of the long relation with all of them. And I hope this small and short presentation give you an ideas about what we are providing in Jordan and the MENA region, and give us an indication about the growth in demand on packaging, on sustainable packaging solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajud. Wonderful. Okay, so great. I think great coverage. Congratulations on the award for the best design. I think this is really interesting to hear of, and it's interesting. If I'm quoting from what you have mentioned today, I think it's interesting to see that you have co-developed solutions with the market, meaning that you're not coming up with an innovation, and sending to the market, but rather co-designing and co-developing with industrial companies in Jordan and the region. And I think this is a very practical way of accessing the market with a solution that fits the market, just like you said, market-ready, sustainable packaging solution. And also, I would like to maybe keep the questions from us and the audience for you, because I'm sure we will have many questions today till after the second presentation. So we will have Dr. Rodrigo now go for his presentation, and then we'll take questions. And this is maybe a good point to remind everyone today that we have 4 speakers. We will have back-to-back presentations and then allow for questions. So if you have any question to Sujud, please either put it in the chat now or keep it till after the second presentation. Thank you again, Sujud, and we'll switch over to Dr. Rodrigo Jimenez. Again, the co-founder and CEO of Polymeron. He's based in Saudi Arabia, and he'll be talking to us about polymer paste biodegradable solutions in Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Go ahead, Dr. Rodrigo.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to the organizers at CWAS and the Blue Peace Middle East for inviting me to give this presentation, and also thanks to the audience for attending today. Next slide, please. My name is Rodrigo Jimenez, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Polymeron, a startup that is based in Saudi Arabia. And our company focuses on the research, development, and commercialization of biodegradable plastic pellets. Next slide, please. These pellets can be used in the production of single-use products, such as films, trays, cutlery, and plant pots. We have 2 different types, ones that are made from chicken waste, and the second ones that are made from date palm waste. The next slide, please. Today, most single-use plastic products in Saudi Arabia and the rest of the world are made from traditional plastics or oxo-degradable plastics. However, neither of these fully degrades. And I want to ask to the audience, does anyone know the difference between biodegradable plastics and oxo-degradable plastics? If you know the answer, please can you type it in the chat? Anyway, for those who doesn't know, I'm gonna give the answer. So oxo-degradable plastics degrade by the action of UV light, oxygen, or heat. However, they produce microplastics as the degradation is not complete. So basically, they just break down into smaller pieces. Whereas biodegradable plastics, they are fully degradable, mainly by the action of microorganisms, and do not generate microplastics. So the microplastics contaminate soil and water, and they eventually enter into our food systems. So this problem exists at the very large scale. In Saudi Arabia, for example, there are 15 million tons of municipal solid waste produced every year, and plastic represents about 17% of this waste, which is around 3 million tons annually. So this includes spoons, plates, films, bags, and bottles that people dispose. So all the plastic is concentrated in major cities, which are Riyadh, Jeddah, and Dammam, with 21%, 14%, and 8% of the total. So only 3 cities produce almost the 50% of the total waste in the kingdom. Next slide, please. So in response to this challenge, at Polymeron, we developed biodegradable plastic pellets using agricultural waste, as I mentioned, specifically date waste and chicken waste. So through this approach, we divert waste from landfills, and we also prevent the formation of microplastics. So the environmental impact can be significant. For example, if traditional single-use plastics in Saudi Arabia were replaced with fully biodegradable plastics, CO2 emissions could be reduced up to 7 million tons every year. At the same time, this transition represents a strong commercial opportunity. Globally, the biodegradable plastics market is valued at around $15 billion, and it is expected to grow to more than 30 billion in the next 3 years. Next slide, please. In Saudi Arabia, this transition is driven not only by the consumer demand, but also by the government regulations. The country has introduced policies to restrict the use of traditional single-use plastics, which means that plastic manufacturers and converters must adapt and shift toward biodegradable options. Next slide, please. So our biodegradable pellets are designed to fit this transition. They can be processed using standard plastic technologies, including injection molding, film blowing extrusion, and thermoforming. So this allows the plastic converters to produce single-use products for sectors such as packaging, agriculture, environmental restoration, among others. And so in the next slide, I'm going to show you some videos of our processes. In the first video to your left, you can see how we are mixing our proprietary materials, and it goes into a process called compounding and extrusion that generates this filament that you can see that is going through a water bath to cool down, and then goes all the way into the pelletizer where you obtain these pellets. And in the video in the middle, you can see how we use these pellets to produce films. And in the last video, you can see also a little bit further the process. So at the bottom of the video, you can see how these pellets are melted, and then it blows up to create the film. And then at the end, we roll the film. Next slide, please. So currently we're working on certifying our biodegradable pellets for the Saudi market so they can be used by local manufacturers in single-use applications. And at the same time, we're expanding our product portfolio by developing biodegradable 3D printing filament formulations, which will allow the users to do rapid prototyping and also small-scale production of packaging and any other type of solutions. Next slide, please. All these developments were done in our pilot plant located at the Research and Technology Park of the King Abdullah University of Science and Technology here in Saudi Arabia. And at these facilities, we have integrated capabilities for pellet production, injection molding, and 3D printing, as well as material characterization to ensure performance and quality. And also, we have, to enable our scale-up and industrial production, we are collaborating with Ingenia Polymers, which is a global company headquartered in Canada, but also has presence in many other countries, including Saudi Arabia, in the city of Jubail. And I think the last one, please. So I just want to thank you again to the organizers for the invitation to present today. Well, this is the references. And if you are interested and want to know more about our technologies and want to explore more and try to make a collaboration with us, you can send me an email to this address. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Rodrigo. It has been really enlightening to understand also the differences between different types of plastics, and which ones produce microplastics and which ones try to avoid and prevent those type of microplastics to go into the environment. So, and I like also the fact that you've mentioned the role of policies to improve those the access to market through innovation, because now not only in Saudi Arabia but in the region, policies that mandate extended producer responsibility are becoming a thing now. Not only for export markets, but also locally. So this is something that companies are paying attention to. And I think early adopters of those alternative and sustainable packaging designs will have an edge also in accessing different markets. So this is really interesting, and thanks a lot for the content that you presented. And now maybe we allow a few minutes for questions. As a reminder, we had Sujud present sustainable packaging solutions for industrial companies. Rodrigo also presented biodegradable solutions for packaging. using different source material. So let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to unmute yourself and go directly into the question. If you're not really into audio and you want to just type your question on the chat, also please do that. I can see already Lena is asking a question to Sujud. Maybe we start with this one. Can you please elaborate on farmers' interest in opting for sustainable choices? So, Sujud, this is a question for you on the interest of farmers. So we're not talking about industrial manufacturing companies, but rather farmers. I think Lena is also adding that she expects from the Jordanian farmers' point of view, packaging is not, the highest priority for them. Especially when it's labeled as sustainable, because it will also drive the pricing. So, Sujud, if you have anything to add to that point, and also our colleagues, feel free to continue with other questions. Sujud.
Thank you, Lina. Really, it's very important question, and thank you for highlighting these issues, because it's very important to distinguish between, if we are talking about sustainable packaging, that means we don't say for all producers and all the farmers, you have to stop using one of the packaging material and directly transition for other type of material. So, according to your question, I know that I can't go for the small farmers and say to them, stop using the box that from plastic that you're already using in the field and start using carton, printed carton, which is highly cost. But it's very important to know that one of the important principle of sustainable packaging in the agri-food sector, that extending the shelf life. So we are working with the farmers, small farmers and big exporter in this field to give them the latest technology to extend shelf life. Let's talk it like this. If we have one of the farmer need to export one type of a product for the external market, we always encourage him to start using, for example, ethylene absorber. For example, oxygen absorber in the package inside. That means we help him to extend the shelf life, keep the product more time, and keep the chance to sell this product with a higher price. So we have a 10 principle related to the sustainable package. One of them is extending the shelf life of product. On the farming, agri-food sector, we always focusing how to use the latest technology to increase the shelf life of product. It's measured like this. If I have a fruit, the shelf life is 24 hours. It's very important, and we will success if we make this fruit available for the consumer for 1 week instead of 24 hours. So in this field, we look at from the principle of keep the product more and increase the shelf life of the product.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sujud. I like how you approached it. If the farmer is not really interested in the sustainable packaging option because of increased prices, or maybe they're not used to it, in logistical, management of the crop, sometimes they just want to stick to what they know. We present a different value, which is extending the shelf life. This is really important. And for farmers, this would make a huge difference, especially in very sensitive fruit crops, strawberries, grapes, and so on, that if you extend another 1 or 2 days, that's a huge value because it will add the marketability of that product. So thanks a lot, Sujud, for the answer, really comprehensive answer. And I hope, Lina, that Sujud has covered what you wanted to address. Again, feel free to put your question on the chat or just unmute yourself and go ahead for a question either for Sujud or Rodrigo.
Thank you for the amazing presentations. I want to follow up on Lina's question and Sujud's answer. I think there are many ways that we can address that in addition to what you said, Khulud. I think we need to find ways to have some policy incentives for that, so if the policy incentives are there, then farmers will use it. In addition, I don't only think of the farmer, I think a very, very important link are the traders themselves. So if the Jordanian factories think that using local materials will be helpful, if the incentives are there, and also the other link, which are traders who sell those to farmers, then I think we would have one more chain that is fitting and making this whole process work. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Asim. Great to have you and a great addition. Sujud, if you have, did you want to compliment?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Mr. Asim. I just want to mention that we can't look for sustainable package from one side, as also Mr. Asim said, but we have a 10 principle of sustainable package. One of them is evaluate the current value chain that we have. As Mr. Asim said, if I use packaging material from the local supplier, that means it's more sustainable. And also, always people, I think that sustainable packaging is more expensive. But let's give you one example that one of the company here in Jordan, we work with them in sustainable packaging. They reduce the grammage of a plastic for their product. At the end, they reduce the cost. Other company, instead of going with full color printing for their product, they go for craft and one color printing. They reduce the cost. So not all the cases, sustainable packaging is more expensive or higher. No, some of solutions are reducing the cost on the long and short term for their packaging solution. So we have to look for the issues from different aspects of sustainable packaging.
Great. Thanks,
Yeah,
Sujud. Rodrigo, please go ahead.
yeah. So I wanted to say that, for example, when farms utilize their waste and transform them into packaging solutions, they can generate another revenue stream. For example, in Saudi Arabia, we are working closely with Tanmia Food Company, which is a chicken company. It's the second largest producer of chicken in the kingdom. And they generate a lot of waste coming from the chickens, and they wanted to do something about it. They wanted to, instead of spend money just throwing it into the landfill, they wanted to generate money from that waste. And that's where Polymeron came in. So we developed a material, a biodegradable plastic that can be converted into a packaging solution and that the farms can use. So reusing, revalorizing, and transforming the waste is also another way for make the farmers interested in sustainability.
Wonderful. So maybe, look at the market, see who can you can source material from, and then generate, packaging solutions that you can maybe sell back to that same company. Really great insight, Rodrigo. And I think, Lina, yes, I hope we have, covered that question. Of course, awareness is a huge part and a huge factor in convincing people, but maybe, showcasing examples. Maybe awareness is not just telling what we need to do, but look at what others have done and how you can save money or improve your market access and so on. And also, I'm looking at the chat while we have maybe covered Lina's question in a really good way. Ingrid is testing our ability to answer questions, because Ingrid Chidiaq is asking if there's an affordable way to get an eco-friendly but also fancy package. I don't know. Myself, I cannot answer this question, so I'm gonna, shift it to the experts. Anyone that wants to address this? How can we get an affordable solution, packaging solution that is, of course, eco-friendly but fancy to the buyer? Sujud.
First of all, I would like to ask what do you mean by fancy? I think sometimes it's related to the culture of consumer. If we are looking for the packaging before 10 years ago, the fancy packaging was the packaging full of color additives and overpacked, which you will try the unboxing experience. You find many layer of packaging to reach the product. It was a fancy with a very a lot of printing, a lot of additives, a lot of sometimes it's a toxic ink that we use to give us the impression that it is a very beautiful packaging. Those time, a lot of people is feeling more comfortable and attracted to the packaging produced from craft paper with the minimum printing and also to the lower layers of packaging used on the product. So I think it's already changed the consumer behavior related to his commitment on the environment and related what he's seeing now in the market. So I think now the fancy product is the packaging that it's very near to the environment with the low ink, low packaging material with the craft paper.
Great. I
Hope
like
that
that. I like
answered
that
your question.
answer. Let's redefine fancy so that fancy also corresponds to eco-friendly and minimalist, maybe in certain cases. Thanks a lot, Suru, because yes, sometimes when you buy eco-friendly, that looks fancy. I like the product that you showed in one of your slides that you got the award for. And to me, this is fancy, doesn't have a lot of layers, doesn't have plastic, only maybe a bit of paper and cotton. So to me, that's fancy. I hope we have covered your question, Ingrid. Rodrigo, if you want to add a line to that, please do. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, I'm an advocate of bioplastics. So my straight answer will be use bioplastics. Why? Because bioplastics are a sustainable option, an alternative option for traditional plastics. They have the same functionality, the same characteristics. They just are biodegradable. So that means that they are good for the environment. And you can create any type of design, any type of shape, anything you want to create. You can do it as well as with that you do as with traditional plastic. So for me, it will be use bioplastics.
Great, thanks, Rodrigo, and thanks also, Ingrid, for the follow-up. We will have more time towards the end if you have any questions to both speakers. Thank you again, Sujud and Rodrigo. And with this, I would like to shift to our third presenter today, who's Ilul Ir. She's the founder and CEO of Palgi. She's from Turkey, and she will be speaking to us today about algae-powered innovations. So packaging that has the algae component in it. I'm also curious to learn from Elul today. So whenever you're ready, we can go to the presentation, Elul.
Yeah, firstly, I would love to thank for having me. The secondly, actually, I totally agree this Sujud what's saying before me actually, because also I'm gonna do some fancy packaging because maybe not maybe, probably already knows the algae-based, seaweed-based packaging solutions is becoming more fancy and popular. So most of the people around the world trying to do that. So I'm gonna present first some insights about Turkey packaging problem. I'm saying the packaging because we are using the still petroleum-based plastics, and between 2020 and 2025, Turkey has emerged as one of the largest plastic packaging producers in its region. That means we are exporting to the Europe, to the USA, to the MENA region, especially the MENA, like the Dubai and the United Arabic States. So largely we are producing largely flexible and film-based materials and the packaging solutions, and millions tons of the annually. In 2021 alone, how can I say, total production, our total production was reached out almost 10 million tons of only the 3 million of tons that were petroleum-based plastics and the food packaging. That means actually 30% of these numbers. So after 3 years, we can use this slide to understand what I'm saying. So by 2024, actually, plastic packaging in Turkey also accounted for nearly, again, the 4 million tons within Turkey and 10 million tons of plastic product output, confirming its central role in the food system. So in just first half of the 2025, we again produced 2 million tons of plastic packaging, and with 1.6 million tons consumed domestically, showing strong and the continuous demand among the world and the Turkey. So flexible packaging capacity exceeds almost 1.5 probably million tons per year with high utilization rates, meaning most of food products rely on single use still. So that's why actually we are trying to how can I say, overcome to overconsumption of the flexible packaging, especially in the food industry. So we are talking about the packaging consumption, but we need to immediately talk about the microplastic accumulation. Because every time that you use a single-use plastic, or it doesn't matter actually, single-use or the recycled, the rigid plastic or recycled plastic, that means you are releasing the more than 100 particles microplastic to the soil and to the body. So every time you use the plastic pad, you are drinking also the microplastic, because our soil has already contaminated with the microplastic contamination because of these plastic usage. So we know the situation, we know the problem, and that's why actually all these webinars, all the things are still continuing. So what we are doing to solve this problem, we are using the waste seaweed and the algal biomass from another countries that we collect from the another countries like Portuguese and Vietnam. So we are actively turning those seaweed into the algae-based additives, and we are saying master veg, but it's not master veg actually. We are making the compounds, algae compounds, and turn these compounds in the single-use packaging opportunities. For example, this is the art. Maybe you don't see right now. Great. This is the last production. Wait. Yeah. This is the last batch production. We produce the single-use, the market pack. It's totally fully biodegradable, and while degrading soil, it feeds the soil like natural fertilizer and leaves zero microplastic. So that means actually we are creating the two beneficial things in a one product. So we can continue another slide. So with this solution, actually, we decreased almost the 90 percentage of CO2 emission thanks to capturing carbon features of the algae, and we are using the 40% less chemical. Actually, everyone needs to use chemical. When we say using the chemical, please don't care about this term, because the chemical actually, for example, we are extracting the alginate and it's also a chemical. We are trying to reduce the petroleum based and the toxic chemical usage while compounding are the bioplastic pellets. So also we are using the air cooling method while dried are the compounding, and that means we are decreasing the fresh water usage and the normal water usage actually at least 50% while compounding our material. So we have the best unique, we are the most important unique selling point. Actually, we are we have no leave behind the microplastic after usage our product. So we can continue. So where to use the pouch? You can use any kind of the flexible single-use packaging area. For example, the electronic packagings, textile packagings, and rigid plastics. We have one customer right now, and we are currently producing the polymer for the 3D printing material. So the textile packaging also, we have another customer. We are producing the footwear packaging, but the cargo packaging material. So electronics, we are still currently looking for the customer from the electronics, because we can produce the bubble packaging. Maybe everyone uses the bubble packaging among the electronics. You know that we are doing the put. So they're totally actually useless. Yes, I know it's very important for the protection of the electronics or the device, but after opening the packaging, they are just wasting. Actually, there is no another benefits for using those things as a petroleum-based plastic. So we are trying to replace those with our product, so we can continue also. So we learned the very real impact requires, for example, designing the solution compatible with existing production system. Because I need to say this, I totally agree with my colleagues before me. Actually, they are presenting their company. In Turkey also, we are struggling to tell them, yeah, guys, you need to turn your solution into more sustainable one, because our world is suffering and our soil is suffering because of the microplastic contamination, and your children eat microplastic. They're just caring about the profit and the machine, because they want to produce exactly that they need, the amount of the customers need. So we created our solution fully compatible with existing machinery. We're just saying to our customers, and not only the customers, actually production partners, please work on please change some parameters like pressure, heat, and I forgot. Sorry, we have changed the three parameters, and one of them the working temperature. For example, normally the most of the petroleum-based materials has to be worked under between the 200 and 250 degrees, but we are working almost half of this temperature. For example, between 120 and 180. That means we are decreasing their temperature, and in that way we decrease the energy consumption. So only the small things needs to be changed, because you need to understand we are working with the nature-based solutions, not the petroleum chemical ones. Because if you want to work with the petroleum, you have to always work with the high temperatures to make the mold and the injection. So we are trying to always working with the industry partners and arrange our parameters according to their needs. So we can skip this slide. Maybe it's the last one. So thank you for your attention. I'm open to question. Also, this is the first product, and it's very new for us. Actually, we just started to sell this product because we were trying to develop the material almost for 3 years, and right now we added the waste stream to our solution. We have some struggle points. For example, this is fully natural. That's why it has a smell, and I don't ashamed my product has a smell, the algae smell, because it's totally made by the algae. So we are trying to still figure out those things. But yeah, again, actually, we're totally proud what we achieved right now. Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Thanks, Ilul, for the really nice presentation and also showing us the actual product that you have. Of course, R&D continues, just like our friend Murat has mentioned on the chat. R&D is in the DNA of all what we do. So this is something important,
Yeah.
and maybe it's ready for the market. Sometimes it needs a bit of improvement. Of course, that's how business development goes. So I'll stop at this side and maybe switch to our
Of
fourth
course.
speaker, and then we'll do another round of questions for you and for the next speaker, who's Farah Zainuddin from the Canton Nas. So Farah is the marketing manager at the Canton Nas based in Lebanon, and she will be telling us about a bit of a different model, which includes almost no packaging or no packaging at all. We'll listen and see what Farah has to say. Go ahead, Farah.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Farah Zainuddin, the marketing manager of the Canton Nas. As you said, we will offer a completely different view of packaging. So let's start about introducing the Canton Nas. Uh, Before starting to introduce, the Canton Nas, we started to introduce the people behind it. Why we started. In 2019, there was a major fire in the region, and a group of volunteers came together to help the affected families by disputing basic supplies. As Lebanon economic crisis worsened, the same group continued supporting affected people with food parcel funded by donation coming from Lebanese living abroad. When the COVID strike, we adapted again and distributing this time hygiene kits and medication during the lockdown. This wasn't enough, and due to the high prices of goods, the donation weren't even enough. So we needed a better solution. So the currency collapses, the situation became even harder. About 61% of the Lebanese people lost their purchasing power, and they were unable to supply or unable to secure the basic need. Almost 1.46 million were facing food insecurity. So we looked deeper into the issue. We found out that in the supermarkets, most of the goods or most of the products are imported. This has made which made them high priced due to the cost of shipping and taxes, and uh, and usually people pay basically 40% of the product price only for the packaging. This packaging later become waste, making around 80% of household trash, and with weak waste management in Lebanon, this created another growing crisis. This is when we saw an opportunity to act. We wanted a solution that supports social justice and sustainability at the same time. This led us to create the Canton Nes, a package-free grocery store offering high quality. Okay, I think we need to shift to the next slide. A package-free grocery store offering high quality, locally sourced food and household products. Customers bring their own containers, choose the quantity they need and which would fit their budget, and they only pay by weight. Okay, also the next one. So we're showing the shopping experience at the Cantonese. So people bring their own containers. They fill these containers based on the quantity they need and based on their budget. So we opened our first the Cantonese branch in October 22 in Baqlin, Lebanon. We have grown, expanded into new location, and we introduced new product, and we're welcoming new customers. Today, the Cantonese have 3 branches in Lebanon. Our first branch in Baqlin went through major development. Our goal was to build a replicable model by setting clear SOPs, improving food safety and quality control, enhancing the customer journey, and upgrading the merchandising and store layout. So here, the next slide will show how we improved this. No, this slide before, sorry. Okay, now this is the store currently. We've been remodeling the store and introducing a new product. Later on, we opened a second branch in Chatfin to test the smaller branches in rural villages. Here is our second branch in Chatfin. A year later, in 2024, we opened our third branch in Hasbaya. The Cantonese now offers more than the The next slide, yes. Decantedness now offer more than 200 products supplied by 42 local farmers, producers, and businesses. We constantly introduce new items to increase the basket size and better serve our customer. Decantedness is okay, the next slide, please. Decantedness is a community-based venture. At its core, at its core is our dedicated team, along with our partners, our shareholders, who we like to call them our early believers, and our suppliers who embrace our package-free model. Most importantly, we serve over 6,000 customers who choose to change their shopping habits and buy their groceries from Decantedness. Most of our customers are low to middle income background. They come for the affordable prices, but stay for the quality and services, and for sure for the impact. Over time, we have many become socially and environmentally aware, most of them, noticing a clear reduction in their grocery bills and household waste. In the past 3 years, our customers have helped reduce and reuse more than 14,000 of packaging waste. This is what is our proudest achievement. Next slide, please. Also, okay, sorry, it's most of the proudest achievement at Decantedness, we won the award choice in 2023. We were selected as champion of plastic pollution prevention in 2024, and we were featured in 3 different research papers. Thank you so much for your time. If you'd like to know more about us, feel free to scan it and follow us on social platforms.
Great. Quite a different model, for
Yes,
no
completely
packaging.
different model, actually.
Completely different. And I like how we have different innovations and models today that actually works for the market. And also, I would like to, maybe touch upon one statement that you said, that it's about environmental and social impact. And I like that you had the combination. It's at the cross section of social and environmental impact. That's where we need to do more awareness. That's where we need to have more early adopters to push for those types of solutions. So thanks a lot, Farah. We'll be back with you for questions later on. But I would like to go back to Amira asking one of the questions in the chat. Amira was asking, are there polymer material that can serve a dual function as food packaging, but also as a soil enhancing or plantable components? I mean, this is, wow, complicated, Amira. Thank you. It would be a nice project for all of us here to think of those type of solutions. If you know any of the speakers, if you know of such a solution, I don't know if the algae-based, plastics could be a soil, improvement element because of the organic, components in it. So, Ilul, maybe that's a question for you if you know of any similar products.
Of course. Also, we are using actually algae. For example, when you look at this product, it's totally nature color, and we are using most of the algae to increase their UV protection, and that means it increased the shelf life actually of the product. But at the same time, we need to make the encapsulated those algae to protect the contaminated the food, So that's why we are working on the R&D. Yeah, it could be in theoretically, yes, the algae and another seaweed solutions totally could be useful for those kind of the features that we want to increase. But at the same time, it needs to be R&D because those are very, very, very contradictable features. For example, you want to increase the shelf life of the food, but at the same time you want to produce this as a biodegradable. So when you increase the shelf life, or when you increase the storage capacity of the food, you have to produce more durable packaging. But at the same time, if you want to produce more biodegradable ones, it means it could be some, how can I say, it could be some sacrifices of the shell life, because it will be directly contacted with the air. That means it will be contacted directly with the oxygen. So oxygen, one of the parameter to make your packaging is biodegradable. So it's all the things that all the things can be covered with the one solution. Maybe in the future, we are working on that. But at this point, actually, yeah, we still needs to be done so many certifications for the food. We have some FDA approvals and some STM and the ISO standards, but still some certifications needs to be done.
Great, thanks, Ilul. Thanks for the answer, and yeah, more maybe R&D to be invested in to reach to also packaging solutions that can be also a source for organic components, fertilizers, anything that could improve soil or
Yeah.
any yes. So that's interesting to say. I also have a question from Ahmed Abdin, who's asking. Can you please, and that's the question to you, Eilul, as well. Can you please explain the source material, and do you support farmers in preparing the waste? Are you supporting algae growers, farmers, whatever you want to call it, in the production? Is it algae from marine sources? Is it cultured somewhere? So this is the question from Ahmed. Is it natural algae? Is it I know lab produced type of algae? Please.
No, actually, we are using the waste seaweeds from the Portuguese, because those seaweed species are invasive for the ocean. That means when they grow, they inhibit the life of the ocean inside of the ocean. So that's why the one company, not only one actually, some companies try to harvest those seaweeds from the ocean and turn those seaweeds into more valuable products. So our companies, our collaboration companies, collaborated with the municipality, but municipality has only small amount of the seaweed. I don't know what's the deal actually between of them, because they are under the NDA. They're just said to me, actually, we give some amount of the seaweed to them. So they need to find another solution to not to trash those seaweed. So that's why they come us and ask if we are giving those seaweed, can you turn this into more valuable things? So we accept this. So another source are coming from the Vietnam. The Vietnamese company has already produced more than 500 tons in a monthly, the liquid as a liquid biomass. So they are harvesting and they are selling those biomass to another companies, but they have a leftovers. They're just yes, produce, but they can't sell every month according to the demand. So we are supplying also to this from them actually. So we are combining each other. So that means we can use also the farming seaweed, of course, but most of the companies do exactly the same thing actually. So that's why the farming seaweed is becoming more popular, but we are using the seaweed waste stream. That's why actually we are differentiating our competitors also.
Great. So seaweed is your source material, and you don't have an issue in sourcing sufficient amounts because you have different sources.
The amount is not problem for us, because actually I need to tell this, we are combining together the waste seaweed and the leftovers microalgal biomass. So we are combining the Portuguese seaweed and the Vietnamese biomass, microalgae biomass, not the macro. We are combining each other together and making the compound using those. So if you're asking why you are using those countries, actually, because there is no any solution in Turkey because we can't obtain the very specific and the same amount in a monthly to make a bioplastic for the industry. Yes, we can obtain some microalgae and some seaweed from the Turkey's coastal line. But at the same time, it's not enough to produce for the industry, For example, we have the minimum order capacity right now, and it was at least 2 tons. So yeah, that's why we are trying to use the other countries' actual waste stream. In that way, we are decreasing the cost.
Yes. Okay, great. So sourcing now is happening through distant countries, but
Yeah,
if you had
worldwide.
a closer source for that, of course you would opt for that because it would be more environmentally friendly, but at the
Of
same
course,
time
yeah.
more economic for you as you are developing a
Of
commercial
course, of
solution.
course. Yeah.
Wonderful. Great, great. Okay, so we have again Lena asking, so maybe this is a question for Farah, especially if you're vending and selling food items. Have you have any liability issues in terms of health, safety, hygiene to manage the food items without separate packaging? Did you have any of those? Are you addressing that already in the cantinas?
Concerning the hygiene, basically people bring the containers from their home, and we always ensure to make, if some products are really affected in hygiene, for example, the tahini, we must make sure that there's no residue in the container itself. But everything else we sell, hygiene is not a really a huge issue, and sometimes we make sure that if, for example, when we want to fill oil. The salesperson on the floor test the container. If they felt that the container is not suitable to fill in the item, he told the customer, we cannot fill you X item in it. So we try as much as possible to control this issue. Sometimes if we felt that the containers are not hygiene and not suitable to fill any item in it, we inform the customer directly, and we refuse to fill anything in it. So we try as much as possible to be to make sure that the food safety is met here. So far we didn't have any issue, hopefully, but and we always try to make sure that the containers are good enough to fill in it anything.
Thanks. It's a valid point that Lena raised, and I think you're
Yes.
addressing that already. And I see from the pictures, at least, that most of the supplied products to the consumer are dry in nature, by nature, that you're selling grains and beans
Yes.
and stuff like that. Maybe tahini and other wet products. Yes, that's where the most attention in terms of hygiene and health safety resides. So great. Thanks, Farah. But maybe if I can ask a question from my side to you, Farah. Because you said you have early adopters, people who are convinced and buying into the concept of zero packaging. Now you have more maybe than 6,000 unique customers. But at the beginning, what was the most challenging aspect of selling with no packaging? What was people's complaints or not wanting to do that?
Uh, Basically, when we started, the Cantonese shifted the shopping experience. Basically, before or whenever you go to supermarket, you go empty-handed and you come from the supermarket with some goods. So the Cantonese shifted completely the shopping experience. So people will have to come to the Cantonese uh, fill with containers, which sometimes or on early adapters were somehow they missed it. Why I should bring something from home? I should, this is something they weren't used to do it. So at the beginning, yes, we faced some issue that some people came to the shop with no containers. Something we didn't mention in the presentation, in early stages, we had some sort of collaboration with a recycling initiative in the Shuf area. They provided us with some containers that we kept in the Deccan. So whenever people came with no containers, they could use they could use some of the containers that were available. So it took us some time to people to adapt to the experience. To sometimes, nowadays when you're at the Decana, you can hear that next time I will bring another container to fill X item. So people now they don't ask us if we have containers anymore. خلاص, they are used to the experience, and now they are committed to shopping without any containers. So early stages, yes, it was an issue, but thankfully people adapt nowadays, and we have no issue anymore with the packaging.
Indeed, it takes a lot of effort at the beginning, but once you
Yes.
have believers in the concept, they're believers for good. So great model, Farah. Again, we can still, post questions to the chat. But in the meantime, since we have promised to close in 90 minutes, we'll launch, few question survey, another poll on Zoom. So my colleague Ahmed will launch this survey for you to answer a few questions so that we get a bit of more insight from you, because I think not only the speakers, but everyone else have expertise, knowledge, exposure to the topic. So please go ahead and answer the questions. And if you still have a question to any of the 4 speakers that we had today, please post it onto the chat or use your mic directly. I like how most people stick to the chat today, but of course, going live and saying your question on audio is still an option. Okay, so the survey is launched. You have 6 questions. Just take a minute, go through the questions and answer. And in the meantime, I can go back to thank our speakers today. Back to Sudhu. Thank you so much for your really nice presentation and insights. Dr. Rodrigo, thank you so much for being with us and introducing a new type of, a biodegradable product that is homegrown in the region, so to speak. And then Elul from Palgi with a really nice, different type of solution that uses seaweed, algae for the biodegradable product as well. And Farah for your really nice presentation on a zero packaging community store that is growing, but also creating awareness across Lebanon. And we would like to see that also happening in other countries in the region. If you don't have any questions and you've answered the survey, then I would like to thank all of you for your time dedicated to today's session. I would like to also thank my colleagues Rita, Ahmed, and also Talar for setting up the session and helping with the technical aspect of this webinar. Also, big thanks go to our partners at the coordination office at Inward Dam, our colleagues Asil, Muntasir, and Samar, who've been also helping us put together this session. We will have a recording of this session, also sent, so that if you would like to go back to it to learn something, or share it with a colleague who might be interested to learn or connect to any of the speakers. Thankfully, our speakers allowed us to share their contact details. So that's another layer of communication and networking that we can do. Thanks a lot again. Have a really nice, late afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.